In today's Boruto video, I will talk about the origin of the God Tree race and show you why they could actually be the original gods of the world and not the Otsutsuki clan, who in this theory are the false gods. This video is actually part of the previous video, which is easily the best Boruto theory you will ever watch, approved by basically everyone who watched it already. But you're lucky, this video here could be seen as a prequel to the best Boruto theory. The link is in the comments and in the description. Definitely check it out after finishing this video here. Without further ado, let's go! The Naruto series, and to some extent the Boruto series as well, used to have a single superior race in the universe, the Otsutsuki, who were considered gods. However, we never questioned whether they were literal gods, and if they were, whether they were born as gods or became gods. If it's the latter, then how did they achieve godhood? With the start of the Boruto series, more light was shed on this topic, and the way we see the Otsutsuki changed entirely. It was revealed that all of the Otsutsuki are portrayed as gods, mainly because they are indeed the superior race among all mortal beings. They are actually merely pursuing true godhood through the God Tree. They aren't actual gods themselves, at least not initially. Therefore, a more accurate description of them would be godlike or equivalent to gods, which is actually the official version how they are described. This comparison alone suggests that there is a separate concept of godhood, one that isn't exclusively associated with the Otsutsuki. In fact, it could even mean that there is actually a god race that is considered a god by default, and the Otsutsuki as a race, regardless of whether they were naturally born so powerful or become that way over time, simply have the capabilities to somehow use the universe in a way that allows them to become gods themselves, but with the side effect that they would essentially ascend to a higher plane of existence, the dimension of the gods. Before the complexity of this relationship was truly revealed, the association of godhood in the Naruto world with the Otsutsuki clan made it falsely seem as if the God Tree is just a tool. To be more precise, a tool exclusively for the Otsutsuki race. And so naturally people wondered how, for example, the Otsutsuki created the 10-tailed seeds. Is it Shinjutsu, or is it something that naturally started to grow on the home planet of the Otsutsuki race? Many different ideas came to mind, but the majority always assumed that it must be something that Otsutsuki always were in contact with, like two pieces that belong to each other, simply a tree for the gods, that is, for the Otsutsuki, rather than assuming the possibility that it is a tree associated with the godhood itself, apart from the Otsutsuki race, which would be a whole other concept. You see, just now the perspective changed entirely from Otsutsukis being the gods to Otsutskis becoming gods by using something that is associated with godhood but does not belong to or associate with Otsutskis originally. In fact, in this way, it is even possible that the tree itself is far superior if and when it reaches its full potential. And that possibility would without a doubt be one of the biggest power shifts in the history of manga, which we might have actually experienced in the recent chapter of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. This new revelation, and with that understanding of the God Tree, could be interpreted in many ways like a tree that will give birth to a god, but can also be used to become a god. This process was actually revealed by Ishiki, who called it the will of the Otsutsuki. The fact that such a will exists to begin with speaks for the idea that we can possibly interpret the Otsutsuki behavior and intentions in an entirely different way than assumed so far. It's possibly much more complex now in terms of what is good and evil. For example, is it a necessary evil for a greater good, performed by a race that naturally just doesn't seem to be good or simply enjoys the process a little too much? But then again, we haven't met so many Otsutskis, and they didn't seem to be fundamentally evil. Sure, they are definitely perceived as evil because it's horrible what they do, there's no doubt about that, but they didn't reveal the purpose. They talk arrogantly and all that, but they don't seem evil in the literal sense. And they don't seem to have no reason either. They clearly have a systematic process, a hierarchy, so this is highly organized. Nothing speaks for pure boredom and natural evilness. In fact, it actually seems that this is either forced upon them, that is, maybe the will of an Otsutsuki is meant to prevent something much more devastating than them becoming gods in another dimension. I know it's a lot of cryptic talk, but it will make sense in a moment. The will of an Otsutsuki in the way I have just described it remind me a lot of Nindo, the ninja way. It's a personal rule that each shinobi lives by, just in a much smaller dimension. So it's a will to follow certain rules and values. This implies that the Otsutsuki will might not be something the Otsutsukis are naturally doing as a race, like an instinct or purpose they have, as is the case for the god trees, which naturally absorb chakra with or without the Otsutsuki clan. It's just what they do. Here we notice the inequality of dependence. The Shinjus have confirmed their instinct. The Otsutskis don't have that. Of course, the Shinju also show an interest in Otsutskis, but more to that reason in a moment. So the Otsutskis use the god tree to make themselves evolve into a higher form. They themselves decide to do this in their life for some reason. Kage has already proven the idea that this is in fact just a personal decision, not their actual nature. So there has to be a reason why they do that. An easy answer would be greed, but obviously Kaguya felt forced to do so. So there's more behind that, and with that, although it is a choice, it's something some Otsutskis don't do voluntarily, so there's at least some sort of moral ground to work with. And with that, it's pretty much confirmed that there's a significant reason why the will of the Otsutskis exists to begin with. Just like there's a reason why shinobis exist, and with that, the will of a shinobi to follow their own ninja way. Shinobis exist for protection, and so one could conclude that the will of the Otsutskis is also based on one of the prime desires of every living creature: survival and protection. But protection from whom? Aren't the Otsutsuki supposed to be the strongest? Again, yes. But that doesn't mean they were born the strongest. Let's take one step back. For example, shinobis ironically exist for protection because they have to protect themselves from other shinobis. Essentially from chakra usage, which happened only to be possible because of an Otsutsuki on Earth in the past, interacting with god trees, and with that a chakra fruit. So it all boils down to the danger of god trees anyway. And here we might be able to derive the possible reason. That is, we don't know what happens if the Otsutskis don't harvest those chakra fruits. If those trees are a natural occurrence in the universe, maybe they will keep on consuming until something really bad will happen. Maybe they would eventually gain consciousness anyway, just like it happened in the recent chapter. But with the difference that it will happen naturally over a long period of time. Is it that what the Otsutskis might try to prevent by essentially becoming the villains themselves? Again, I'm not denying the idea that Otsutskis are called beings, and those who do the job certainly do that for more reasons, other than possibly protecting the universe. But it doesn't change this idea. So it all comes down to one question: are the god trees a natural occurrence? And if so, then the Otsutskis might have been a weak race from the beginning, but evolved because of the god tree. Because they felt forced to harvest the fruit and keep harvesting them, and with time, developed a sort of arrogance towards their very own existence, leading to them calling themselves gods, when in reality they are nothing without the god trees. The moral reason for that could be that they are indeed actually protecting the universe, because in the past they noticed that god trees actually became aware of their own existence if the chakra fruit is not harvested. The reason why the specific Shinju in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex shows such a great hate for the Otsutsuki clan could simply be because it gained awareness and obviously remembered how the Otsutskis treated them. So of course a little bit of hate would be involved. It could also be an instinct that has developed over many centuries, as in although the god tree has absolutely no dependence on the Otsutsuki clan, they still hate them naturally because it simply became part of their life over time. Generally speaking, the Shinjus made it seem as if they are indeed simply chakra that gained awareness. So in a way one could say that the god tree is a primal creature essential for the universe itself or its creation. It's all about chakra, maybe even the beginning of chakra and also the end. Kinda like a black hole. And with that, all this could mean that Shibai might not even be the main villain, depending on how far this god tree plot will go. And then there's also Amado, who looks like he has provoked that development on purpose, which would imply that he knows something only people who knows the universe better than anyone else should know. So who is Amado really? And that's it. Let me know in the comments what you think of this theory, and don't forget to watch the best Boruto video. The link is in the comments and in the description. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, it really helps me a lot. And if you want to see more Boruto content, then subscribe to this channel with the notification bell activated for more videos. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.